Hi, Hope. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, amazing. Thanks for joining me today. And I suppose first thing first, I want to congratulate you on being a funded trader on FunderPro.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I suppose maybe to start, do you want to tell us a little bit about you and your trading journey and maybe a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I think my trading journey has probably been a little bit interesting compared to most traders. It wasn't easy, so I think I've been in a lot of classes and I've watched people go through the process and talk about trading, and it's always kind of like blew my mind, and I was like, oh my god, I'm never gonna get this. But I could also see how this type of having this skill is life changing. Like it could literally change your life. And so I was like, I've got to figure this out. There's got to be a way that, a person, a mentor, somebody that could help me figure these things out. So I just kind of trudged through all of the cloudiness in my head. I just kept going. Even when I didn't understand what was being said or done, I would still practice. I would still, make all the mistakes, ask all the dumb questions. And people would look at me like, why are you asking that type of question? But I didn't care. I just like, I can see
Yeah.
the other side. And I was like, I've got to figure out how to get to the other side. So I kept with it. It's been about 6 years now. I was doing it a couple years before the lockdown. But when the whole pandemic and all that stuff
Mhm.
came into play, I had more time to do more studying. So I was like, hey, let me dig deeper. And then also, as my job in the rest of the world, I am a counselor. I do life skills training with youth that have found themselves in different aspects of homelessness, whether it's aging out of foster care or juvenile detention, youth homes. There's some group homes that house youth. And so it's interesting as I counsel these youth, because there is lots of things that they go through that, we just kind of pick up, from home, just by, being around your family all the time. But then there's, these little soft skills that these youth may not have. And so I help them, navigate in that way. And I've kind of brought that into my trading, I don't know, trading strategy, or as a trader, I use that same type of mentality. And so psychology is where it has become a very big part of my strategy. So a lot of times and I've seen like online where there's a message that'll say, trading is 90% mental. But then
Mhm.
when I'm in these classes and trying to learn the skill, it's all technical. Like nobody talks
Yeah.
about, like every once in a while they'll put a blurb out, like it's cute to put the memes up and the screenshots of, hey, take a break and, don't get too emotional or trade like a robot. But you don't really dig deep into the psychology of what's actually happening in your brain or your emotions and stuff while you're trading. But those things can definitely affect the outcome of your trading. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out a way to get more of that into some type of strategy. And my strategy seems to work most of the time, but at the same time, being an emotional trader or trying to regulate your emotions can get away from you. So you do kind of get yourself into some pretty sticky situations sometimes. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
So
leave that. We'll leave that right there.
yeah, so the Thunder Pro team and myself, we saw that you passed a few days ago, and obviously you're trading on your live account now. We could not believe what we saw in your phase two, where it was literally a straight line up. Every single trade was positive. You had 100% winning trades, and to a point where I was like, can we check if there's a glitch here? Is there something wrong? This must be a bot. It must be something, you know? And we checked and we drilled down, and our team were able to see, no, these trades came from a phone. Somebody was doing this manually. We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. So I think with your strategies that you're employing, and I think your psychology side, I think you're really starting to master the skills anyway.
So I think what I try to do as far as my strategy, I mean, typically, okay, I am a scalper. So I have tried to hold trades like earnestly for a couple days, but even when I'm in like massive profits, I can't sleep with a trade open. So that helped me decide that I'm a scalper. Like I have to, if I want to get some rest, I have to close my trades at some point. So part of my strat, and I'm a break and retest trader. So I like to find consolidation and trap price and then wait for some type of breakout. I am newly learning the VWAP. So I'm thinking that I want to maybe use that as part of that strategy. So I'm kind of testing that in the background, but I typically will try to use supply and demand to locate where there might be liquidity and then, plan an attack that way. And then when I do get a successful breakout, I ride it to the point, like I've already decided, like every day, my goal is maybe take 4 trades and each trade ends in $500. So I think a lot of traders typically want to say, oh, I'm going for a 20 pip move, or I've marked this zone. And when it hits this zone, here's my stop loss. I'm going to close it out. Or, move your stop loss into profit once it gets a certain point, and then it you just ride it till whenever it stops or whenever it comes back on your stop loss. But once my trades get to a certain point, and of course, candles can take off on you, but if I say my goal is 500 and it goes off to 600, I close it. I close it right then because my goal was 500. Even if it goes to 1200 or 2000, I'm not worrying about that. My goal was 500 per trade. I got that. Even if it was 500 or 600 or 800, that's the thing. It possibly could have been 2000, but hey, I stuck to my guns. That was my goal. So I do manually close my trades, even if I have a stop loss, even if I have a TP marked. Once I hit that particular number, and the reason I put stop losses and TPs in is because you can get a runoff at any moment. You never know, when those things might happen. So putting those guardrails in place, which is something that I learned just by connecting with Funder Pro vendors, other folks that I've heard talking about Funder Pro. And I like the way that Funder Pro gives you those parameters, like having the 10% or the 5% daily drawdown. Those are guardrails that help to kind of keep you into a certain type of, some sort of making you more responsible, I guess I would say. I think, so those are good things that I like about the Funder Pro system. And then so that together, I'm still, marrying your guardrails with my psychology. And so those together, I think those two things will be like a pretty successful relationship.
Yeah, good. I think from our perspective as well, that's the way we like to see it too. There's a lot of people who feel, they're looking for the easiest criteria, but I think that, we've got a challenge that challenges traders. We have the consistency rule. We see it as a positive because people can learn, I need to be consistent. I can't, have big wild swings within a day. So I think it's, as you say, it's important to have those guardrails and, put these restrictions on yourself to make yourself a better trader long-term. And I guess, long-term profits come from that consistency.
Yes.
So, so with, now that you've been funded, I suppose, how do you see that maybe changing your trading, considering that now you're using a 200K account versus maybe what you would have been trading with before?
One thing that I kind of, again, psychology is real for me, as it probably is for most folks, but I've had to kind of fight the notion that I want to use bigger lot sizes. So that notion does come into play. And so I'm still trying to decide how I want to handle that personally, but I think probably for my own sanity, I should stay with smaller lot sizes, like smaller lot sizes and maybe more positions. So if I see a good, once I hit a zone and it's ready to do the breakout, it's retested, and now it's going to keep going in the direction that I think it should go in, I might put 2 or 3 positions as opposed to increasing the lot size. It's just, for me, that would be easier to close one position or take a partial on something if it, turns around or that type of thing. So, so that's just having the extra capital. Also, I think just when you're coming from a world of taking withdrawals on a smaller account, it's quite different when you actually can think about, if I consistently make, like this particular amount, whether it's, $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day, which is so doable, with the larger account. With the smaller account, you're looking at $100, $200, maybe $20, $25 a day, type of thing. And so when you can kind of cross over that threshold because you've got more capital to work with, you've got, actually the fact that somebody's kind of looking over your shoulder, curbs your behavior a little bit. So it's kind of like you're with a team. So now you have a team behind you that is helping you stay, within workable parameters, but you also get like regular payouts. And so having the regular payout with the notion that being able to leverage a larger account and increase your profitability and then, receive the regular payouts on a weekly, it's almost like, more, gosh, I can't think, I'm losing the word, but, cause I haven't had a job in so long, but I think it's the reason why people, that word is, security. There it is. That's the word. So so it does kind of give you a little bit more of a sense of security just because you have the support of the prop firm, especially a company like FunderPro, because with the Discord, you have folks where you can go and actually talk to them, type in messages, and they respond back to you same day. So you don't feel like you're just kind of out there by yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, we're very happy to hear that you're feeling supported within the company. I suppose as we've been seeing traders like yourself, succeeding and getting funded, we're constantly thinking of ways that we can really support that and help you within your trading. Within the next couple of weeks, we're going to start actually working with our funded traders and trying to give kind of supports from a trading perspective, and as you say, even a mentality perspective, with our understanding of the markets and I suppose the expertise within the team. We have a lot of visibility, of good risk management and ways that we can help you analyze your trading and understand, the way that you're trading and the patterns that you have, and maybe, hopefully help you catch some things that you might not have seen yourself that you can help you.
Yes.
And as
definitely.
When you're in the middle of it, it's always hard to see.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes finding the right group, to join, or the right class, the right education platform is so tough, especially when it's something that's not intuitive, like, reading charts, marking up charts. That's not something, because I'm a creative person. So I've done photography. I had a food service business for a while. So even though I've been an entrepreneur for almost 32 years, running a successful business has been a plus for me. And so I've even looked at my trading as a business. So putting those other, responsibility tools in place, like having monthly goals. And I really think, setting goals is something that a lot of is not talked about a lot in trading. Of course, people have numbers that they want to hit, and I want to, make $1 million at the end of this year. But what are your benchmarks in order to get to that, to that overall goal? You have to have smaller ones, that are attainable and not just, frivolous and out of the world. So, thinking about those things. And so if I look at it like a business, then it forces me to create those small benchmarks, like on a daily basis, to have my trading plan up somewhere where I can see it, written out, typed out, or whatever. And it's not just an idea in my head, but once you get, your ideas out on paper, I always look at it like that's a contract with yourself. And so once you write it down and you post it up, now you can see, oh, I've committed myself to only making 4 trades a day and not 14, or I've committed myself to this number goal. And once I hit that number goal, I'm done trading for the day, so I don't overtrade, things like that. So I think having a good group that you can actually share ideas with and talk to on a regular basis is going to be, I think that's a really key part to even creating successful traders. So if that's something that is a goal for Funder Pro, having an actual group, or just access to other people that have met certain criteria or that show consistency, in that respect, lead discussions, and having access to that for traders would be definitely a super key component to creating a successful outcomes for yourself as a trader.
Yeah. I think, that kind of fits into who Funder Pro is, what Funder Pro is as a company, where we're providing that real capital and so it really pushes us to find ways to actually support the trader and really, because at the end of the day, your profit is positive for us as well. And so, if we can both win, if we can both help each other, everybody's winning. So I think that's key from our side.
And it's crazy because a lot of people say that, but they don't actually walk through that process. And it's good to see Funder Pro actually following through on what they say. And I must commend your admins in the Discord, because sometimes I see them take a lot of flack, but they still stay positive. They still stay answering questions. They don't give up. So those are some great people, and they should be commended for the fact that they put up with that stuff. They keep the peace, and they keep the information flowing. So that's great to see.
Amazing. Okay, well, thanks for your kind words. Yeah, I think we've got a fantastic team here, and everybody does their bit to try and make sure that we've got a nice environment for everybody to be, even when you've got some of those tricky people.
Yes.
But anyway, that's life. Very good. And so I suppose you were saying you've got your goals and you're breaking it down into those smaller pieces. I suppose, what is the goal for you longer term as you kind of continue your trading career?
As I continue on, as I said earlier, like having this skill is such a life-changing thing. I do want to, once I find greater consistency for myself, right now my support group, I have a group called the Trader Support Group. And so we just kind of talk to each other about the struggles that we're having as traders, which I think if you're not, trading in a bubble where you're just talking to yourself all the time, like you said, you sometimes other people can see things about you that you can't see. And so having that feedback and being able to bounce those ideas off of other people and being open to coaching and, different things like that. I think maybe growing that a little bit more is something that I would love to do. Because even, as I work with these other different demographics of folks, and I'm really drawn to the young people. And so even getting more young people involved in, there's a lot that I've learned about global finance that, you don't pick up in school. So there's a lot of information about just being part of the global financial market that is brand new information to me. And so I would love to be able to package that information and make sure that it gets out to more people, that they understand, how these things work. And there's lots of people that find themselves kind of like on the fringe of society in a lot of places. They get left out of a lot of conversations and find themselves living a life where other people make rules for you. And so being able to give this tool to folks in that situation would be my goal, so that they can kind of take back some of the control of their life. So if you had a vehicle, a tool you could use to add maybe $1,000 a month, to your income, that would be huge for a lot of people that may already be working like 4 or 5 jobs, trying to figure things out. So, something like that, and possibly even starting my own fund, like a hedge fund. I'm looking into those options. There's a group that does education on those lines. So I've decided to join some of their mastermind sessions to kind of see how something like that could be accomplished. So I'm stacking my coins on the side right now, so that at some point maybe I could create a hedge fund and allow people to join for as little as $100, $1,000, and reap the benefits of being part of a fund like that. So those are some things that I'm looking at long term, and I really see FunderPro being a huge partner in that. Even if it's just with the education and the support through becoming a more successful trader, that's huge.
Amazing. Well, I think so much of what you said there is not even about yourself, but it's for other people, which is I think something that's really commendable. So well done.
Oh, thank you.
That's very nice. Okay, I suppose, do you have any questions to ask me?
Let's see. Like I said, your admins do a really good job of, funneling everybody's hang-ups and stuff. But as far as, because you guys are still kind of new in this space, what are some of the major changes that you see coming about for your company as a whole? Like, where do you guys want to position yourselves in the industry?
Yeah, so I think for us, we're taking this real funding very seriously. So with our company as a whole, we obviously provide technology to other companies as well, other prop firms. And really what we want to do is we want to show the industry that, backing traders and giving them real funds is a good, consistent, profitable way to do business. And really setting up an ecosystem where traders are backed and they're taken care of, and the interests of the prop firm are aligned with the interests of the trader. So that's really what we're trying to do. That's our mission, because we feel that prop firms, it's just an incredible advancement within the industry, and we want to really try and bring that to as many people as possible. And I suppose, making sure that we're helping the industry get to a place where the interests of the prop firms are aligned with the interests of the traders. I think that will give a really long-term aspect for the whole industry. So that's our mission, and that's what we're really pushing to do. So we've a lot of ideas, and we're really working through them. For instance, as you're saying, you can get paid out every week. I think, that's a place that we're starting, making sure that people are able to take their profit and they're able to take it consistently. Just trying to find these small areas where it makes sense for everybody, that somebody gets good conditions and somebody, has the criteria that helps them be a good trader. So yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do. And our ambition really is, to be up there at the top of the industry and really be leading the way and showing that it is possible to do it.
Awesome. The other thing that comes to mind for me is, and I know we talked a little bit about bots and AI trading a little bit, but I have considered the fact that, you know, you look at a lot of things, and when you learn about all the players in the industry, then you know, a lot of market movers use you know, AI or digital services to make their trades. And if, you know, so as a trader, when you're competing against that, then it almost seems necessary to have more AI tools on the side of the trader. And so that can be a touchy situation, you know, as far as, you know, being a fund manager and making sure that the playing field is fair and all of that. So is there something that you see on the horizon for you guys or for your environment that incorporates more AI tools for traders to use?
Yeah, so I suppose with FunderPro, we're very happy for people to use bots. I know that not everybody, not everybody in the industry wants that. We're happy for people to use them because, again, if they're able to create something that makes consistent and steady profits in a safe way, you know, fair play to them, and we're very happy for people to use their initiative and really, you know, push to make those profits. I can see what you're saying as well, where, you know, maybe these things may have kind of negative impacts. I think, you know, if you're talking about assets that have, you know, very, very high, a lot of liquidity in the market, then, you know, I suppose there's not so much impact of bots and in those moving the industry as much. But yeah, look, I think from our perspective, again, trying to find ways that help and support people. I think, you know, we're making, you know, we're constantly bringing in new features, new tools. We're connecting to new trading platforms like TradeLocker, which are working towards getting, you know, more indicators and bots and having the trading view charting, which obviously is a big place now where everybody's going to get their indicators and to get, you know, that AI touch and feel into the product and into their trading. So I think we're trying to find where people are naturally doing it and then trying to find ways to support them. And again, as much as we can within our rules and within the product that we provide, we're definitely open to helping people utilize technology, but also if somebody's a manual trader as well, we're also looking at ways to help them too. So I think whatever the trading style is, finding those ways that people are able to do as good as they can.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually did sign up for TradeLocker, so I'm going to do a test on there. I think I have a trial, like a demo, excuse me, a demo account set up for them. And I think there's been a couple questions. I wasn't sure like how I think it's the helper feature or maybe the beta where they ask you for input as far as what you want to see. So I've been looking at a couple things where I think some tools, like having a tool that does like auto trailing stop and things like that would be really beneficial to especially to the way that I trade, because I do constantly like put my stop loss into profit and things like that. Yeah. So that's, you know, a part of my my trading process. So just having that, you know, one less thing that you have to think about, I think would be something cool. But I like the way that they do ask for feedback from traders. So having a company, you know, where you can honestly say this company was, you know, built by traders for traders, that you guys actually live that. So that's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So maybe what I would say is what's something that you would say to aspiring traders out there, somebody who's been trading a while and you know are now starting to look at prop firms for a way to get to that next level and move forward. What would you say from your experiences of using FunderPro and just your experiences in general to help these traders?
Yeah, definitely. I have, gone through several challenges with other companies, and I definitely can see the difference that the no time limit has. And I think maybe you guys probably were one of the first to offer that, but I do see other prop firms are now starting to say that because they can see the benefit of that. But at the same time, I do think maybe there are firms out there that maybe that's not their, ultimate, goal. So I would definitely look for a prop firm that does offer no time limits, because then you can settle in and create your own schedule so that matches your trading style, and you don't feel like you have to conform to what the prop firm is telling you to do. And also, like you said, if we're both profitable, we both win, so having that win-win relationship is key. So that you're in a environment where they honestly want you to succeed, which is what I found in FunderPro. So definitely doing your research ahead of time. Talking to, if you're part of a community, I think that's also key, just being with other people so you guys can share information, share experiences. Because I think communities have been good for helping folks avoid scammers or avoid, software or services out there that don't have the best interests of the trader in mind. So being a part of a community where you can ask questions and get referrals, and and I think FunderPro does a really good job of sharing information. So they have other people kind of share your information and share their experience, which has been pretty key. So yeah, doing your research and being part of a community, ask lots of questions before you make the purchase. Because even when you go to the FunderPro site, you can join the Discord before you buy. And so that way you can ask the questions and you can get a feel for what the service will be like after you make that investment. And I think that's really commendable for you guys to allow people to come into your orbit before they're even a customer.
Good. Yeah. Look, as you're saying, it's getting that feedback from traders and real traders, and I suppose trying to build a product that's for everybody, and it really solves those needs is what we're looking to do. And as you say, then giving those levels of access beforehand, giving things like free trials, giving different tools that we can that will help everybody, start in their career and I suppose hopefully like yourself, get funded and hopefully make consistent and steady profit over time. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks very much for your time today.
It's my pleasure.
I'd just like to say again, congratulations, well done on becoming a funded trader, and I hope we have a long relationship together.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, amazing.